You have to realize that you are not fighting a battle that is physical. This is a spiritual war. This is spiritual. I was talking with somebody the other day, and we were talking about how when in Genesis, when the demons fell and Satan fell from heaven and the angels fell with him. Okay, so these spirits are now roaming the earth, and you can read in the Bible where it talks about men wearing women's clothes and lying with the opposite sex, and it says, do not do it. People can try to argue about, well, it doesn't say homosexuality in the original, but it says, do not lie with another. That's pretty plain, no matter what language that you're reading it in. It says that exactly. You're not supposed to. And so, man, let's go on before I get too frustrated.
All without their parents' knowledge or consent. Let me be clear. SB 5599 represents the most radical and dangerous piece of anti-family, anti-Christ legislation that we have seen in the last 40 years. In Washington State, it's against the law for a minor to use a tanning bed. It's against the law for a minor to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
It's against the law for a minor to enter into a legally binding contract. It's against the law for a minor to buy tobacco products, and the list goes on and on. But at the age of 13, if you want to permanently damage your body through gender reassignment surgery, start taking puberty blockers, and irreversibly harm your reproductive system, the state will house your child in a private government facility, prescribe medicine, and perform surgery, and then refuse to give you information about their whereabouts. Oh, and by the way, they would fund this with your tax dollars. Friends, this is an all-out demonic assault on parents, children, and the family unit. And that brings us to today. SB 5599 is sitting on the governor's desk awaiting his signature. Yeah, I don't know if we have a shot at stopping this bill, but friend, we're going to try. Every Christian and common sense person in this state should be outraged. And here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm calling it Operation Melt the Phone Lines. I want to generate 100,000
Tell me he didn't preach that the next Sunday and that was his title.
calls to the governor's office in the next 72 hours demanding that the governor refuse to sign this bill and protect the rights of parents to raise their own children without government interference. I am asking you to call the number on this screen and leave a message telling Governor Inslee, do not sign this bill into law. If you have called before, call again, for we have a limited window to act and the church must speak up. If the phone lines are jammed, you can send a public comment by going to the link right below me. Let us make our voice heard in this hour. Thanks so much.
Bro. Wow. So, look at that. That's actually happening. This video was actually posted 5 days ago on the Victory Channel. 5 days ago. Lord knows where it is right now. I don't have any current stats on it right now. All of the rumors of trafficking, this is happening like right now. This is in real time.
I mean, Russell, you broke it down real good there in a short amount of time. Just exactly what we're facing on Governor Inslee's desk. What's the timeline look like that we have to respond?
Well, where we're at in Washington State is the House and Senate has passed the...
I also am very curious if I could pull off those glasses he's wearing right there. Let me know in the comments and be gentle.
This bill already, so it's sitting on Governor Inslee's desk awaiting his signature. There's not a guarantee at this moment that this bill will be signed into law, but it's certainly a distinct possibility. And what we're hoping over the next number of hours is that we generate enough noise through phone calls, emails, and public comments that it communicates to the governor that there are a lot of common sense people across party lines who are just about universally opposed to the government interjecting itself in the parent-child relationship. I mean, it's absolutely insane that we're even having to form a coalition at this point to oppose this bill. But, people everywhere, not just believers, but people everywhere are saying, hey, we don't co-parent with the government. What's going on? What do you mean the government could house my minor child and then refuse to tell me where they are?
Which is crazy. I don't even understand how this is possible. Like, if they are underage and someone else takes them or receives them, I thought that was kidnapping. Am I wrong? I thought that was kidnapping. I don't know.
As long as that child says that they want gender-affirming treatment. In fact, one of the things we didn't put in this video that this bill also does is it changes the definition of abuse in Washington state. And it changes that definition to also mean a parent or a legal guardian who will not affirm the gender identity choice of their minor child. So we are headed in a very...
It's making it where you have to bow to your children. This is the opposite of what the Bible teaches us to do. This is so asinine. This is the most ridiculous. This is such lacking of common sense. I do not understand how anybody, grown people, and everybody knows that people that are up in government, they all a bunch of old folks. How can they be this old and be this dumb? Like, where is they're lacking such common sense and wisdom. Listen, it's terrible that we have to have such drastic things happen in our society for us to realize that there is demonic attacks on our nation, on our world. It should not take such a drastic thing for us to realize that something spiritually wrong with this nation going in the direction. This is happening now. Like, I was telling somebody the other day about talking about COVID, where the government came in and shut the churches down. And, in a lot of places it didn't shut down because, there was a kind of a rebuttal. There was a technically just a rebellion of, bringing back churches and people not living in fear. And listen, COVID was a very real thing. People still live with some of the effects that it did. Just they used it and manipulated it. And if you read some stories, some people say grew it, but we're not going there. But things that was a path to try to control what God's people, like the church people, did. Now listen, we're not a bunch of scientists. There are science people in the church or doctors in the church, but we so easily bowed to what we were told to do. And my dad was a preacher my entire life and was preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ, and he is returning soon. Yo, how much sooner is he going to be here now? Because look in the short couple of years, the conversations that have been going on. And this reminds me, and the Bible talks about this, talks about how it will go back to the days like Sodom and Gomorrah. Look at this. Epstein, why has there not been anything released on so many topics? I'm not going to go into who did what and whose son was involved in what, because I don't personally know. But I'm saying if there's evidence like this husband and wife, there was a president at one time. If there's evidence, how are these people still free? How in the world are people just that are in power? This is the problem. That are in power and are allowed to do whatever they want. This is the issue. There should be some sort of limit. I'm not political at all. I'm like, whatever. I float mainly conservative. I do think there can be Democrats who know God, because you can be in a party and not agree with everything that they say, just like I don't agree with everything that crazy conservative people say, like the red pill community. If you don't know what that is, got videos coming soon on that, because some of y'all don't even have a clue, and it's crazy. So that's why I say
dangerous direction that undermines the ability of parents to do that very thing, parent their children as they see best. Yeah. And so we're hoping to organize the masses from Washington State to Washington, D.C., and create as much noise as possible to stop this piece of dangerous legislation.